Most of these quests out here are very short. If you know where you're going, there's a couple of them out here that can be quite tedious. If you don't, finding them is probably half the challenge. Once you get over to where they are, they're all in the same general area. But the run out to them is kind of far. So the one downside when they did this wilderness and made it the level 1 wilderness that we were all begging for is they failed to put a lot of XP into it. So although we now have a ability to walk in and do Reaper level like brand new, there's no real reason to because it's horrible XP.
Small, squalid cave entrances dot the ravine walls. These must be the caves of chaos, where the cultists and their monster allies have made their base. The door behind you seals shut as you enter. There's now only one way to go.
Okay, we're gonna need to get some crust and let this big minotaur out.
As this cave is said to contain much treasure. A burly minotaur stands behind a magical barrier, guarding a pile of treasure. Always more. Always more. The minotaur snorts. Greed draws you adventurers like moths to the flame. Have fun starving in my cave with the treasure just out of reach. This crest matches one of the sockets on the Minotaur's barrier. There must be more somewhere in the cave.
This puzzle has several variations, actually.
The webs that cover the walls of this part of the cave quiver for an instant.
Remember how I said I hate bats?
Then, a massive spider lunges out of the shadows.
Let me see something. So, we are getting a 10% XP penalty on top of everything else. Probably should have ran these at level 2.
This should be enough crests to
But
fill
I was
all
kind of
the
hoping we could
sockets on
find
the
a
Minotaur's
party
barrier.
to run this on Elite. That's okay. So 1 level over, usually I don't think is a penalty. You don't get the bravery bonus. 2 levels over, you actually start taking penalties. At certain points, you just don't get XP anymore.
With all 3 crests neatly fitted into their sockets, the magical barrier fades. The infuriated Minotaur gives a roar of rage and attacks. The Minotaur's bellow is cut short as it collapses. Now the treasure the creature had been guarding is yours for the taking.
So, Wormy just pulled himself a Mythic 1 item. That gives him some bonuses. Definitely worth using. Let me see if I think I already have a +1 item to my strength. Yeah, so putting those gloves on does absolutely nothing for me. Ah. Bugbear's Caves is one of the ones that can be kind of confusing in
As you
here.
walk deeper into
It
the cave,
does end up being
you hear
pretty
deep,
straightforward in
guttural voices
the
in
end,
distance.
but you have to go back and forth a few times.
You notice a small iron key in the corner of the room.
So as you get a higher and more advanced character, and by that I mean a lot of lives, you get the ability to do for
The
certain
iron lock.
reincarnations. There's a little bit advanced for us to worry about right now. But you get some points to spend,
The smell of
and
meat
in my
cooking
racial
wafts
tree on my main,
tantalizingly
my
down the
favorite race I
corridor.
did while I was doing those was actually human. Why? Because I had enough points at the very beginning at
You
level 1,
notice the glint of
I had
silver in the
Dimension
far
Door
corner
as a
of this
human.
chamber.
It was
As
amazing.
the first lever is pulled, the crystal above
Because
it
at certain
flares
points,
into life.
you have to run all the way back to the beginning of a quest.
The image of
Oh, I
a
hope you
small
picked up that
silver
one.
key is
The key, there
embossed
we go.
on this surprisingly well-crafted lock.
And it's just easier
As
to
the silver lock clicks
call
open,
yourself back.
you hear the muffled
It's fun.
voices of bugbears ahead.
And there's several quests that are like that, where it's just all like, oh, did they knock me over?
Huddled humans dressed in rags flinch away from the door as you open
I'm
it.
saving because, again, I'm a paladin. You are free. Go free.
As the door opens,
You are
see
free.
several humans in
Free.
chains crouching against the walls.
Go. Okay, should have pulled this when I was in here.
As the second lever is pulled, you can hear the rumble of the sealed doors sliding open.
So I was free to make this turn and end up in the wrong room again. You can see, even on normal, these guys hit a lot harder than the normal quests on the other ones
As you
that were
open
low
the
level.
door, a massive bugbear growls and attacks.
It's much newer
As
content.
the chieftain dies, you notice a small ornate key on the table in the far corner of the room.
Not that we're at risk of dying. But if I came in here at level 1, when I was a lot squishier, could have been a lot worse.
The door to the treasury opens with a satisfying click. The large rusty lock on this chest looks like it could be picked.
I got a dose in here that does me no good, but makes my Warforged companion friend here much happier. No, I don't need the Ring of Spellcasting. Okay. Next quest can definitely be one that confuses a few people. It's actually pretty straightforward if you know which direction to go. Which is, by the way, not towards the fire, guys. As I said, these quests are all right here together, so getting up from one to the other is not a challenge. I said losing Abel as he came out. Okay, here we go.
Fearing for their lives, the people of the keep
Go
have
towards
asked
the
for your
cold
help
side.
dealing with 2 orc tribes that dwell inside
So you
this
can actually
cave.
avoid
Judging from the decor,
killing some
each
stuff here
direction leads
if you
to a
manage to
different
both
tribe's
jump over
home.
this tripwire.
A tripwire snaps,
But as he
and
ran
the
straight
phone
through it,
clangs in
because I was
response.
talking instead of
Several
typing,
orcs rush around the corner,
means you're gonna
roused
end
by
up
the
having
alarm.
to kill
This
some
room
guys.
is where the Frost Rager clan creates its magical concoctions. Best to destroy these now, before they can create more of the deadly and vile substances.
Okay, so you do actually have to kill a minimum of 7 guys. This lovely person, if I've really felt like doing it, does come and give you an optional that you have to carry around in your inventory until you get to the last of the quests. But I don't really feel like doing that, so. Mainly because that optional is kind of a pain. This is an easy lever to miss, so make sure you grab it before you keep moving on.
The lever clicks into place, and the sound of grinding gears can be heard
You don't need to
in the
talk
cave.
to her. Okay, let's see if we can see the door. So you have to get both the lights crystals lit up in order to get that. Here's the other one here.
Grinding gears can be
I
heard once
think
again
there's-
as a gate opens somewhere in the cave.
Lock chest. Okay. That's not the name chest anyway. That's this one back here. Ah. Okay, so when running with a partner, a buddy that doesn't necessarily know their way around the wildernesses as well as you do, you should definitely be kind and wait for them to fully load out before you run off. Tips for running with newer players. And I say newer, ironically, because he's been playing as long as I have, just not as consistently. Okay, one of the objectives down this direction is to get a scout as long as, yeah, exactly. For as many years as, how's that?
Most of the kobolds
I'm
scramble to
getting-
defend their cave at the
Aha.
side of you,
Got
while
him.
one of their numbers scampers away. You've stopped the runner, and not a moment too soon. Who knows what else the kobold tribe might bring to bear against you?
Okay, so we gotta explore the caves.
An elderly kobold demands your attention, calling for the cessation of hostilities. You've made a deal with the tribe. Strike down their leader to gain their support.
We have made a deal. go, strike down the leader. Oh, this leader. Hopefully he does not teach us one of the most valuable lessons.
Now that the chief is dead, you should let the tribe know they are free of desire.
So, this is probably one of the first places that you can really get blinded for long periods of time. It is not nice. Piles of gold, you can sit here and search. Most of the time not worth it. But it's free gold, so we're gonna search. There we go. As soon as we open up this next set of doors, we'll reach the last of the objectives. I am gonna go back and politely tell the kobold about the chieftain's demise, though. Oh. As the barbarian blows himself up. If you come in here and ask her nicely about it, and tell her nicely,
The kobolds react to the news of their chief's
I failed my
death
check the first time.
with what seems like relief. The elderly kobold offers
She'll
you a
elude,
reward for
but
freeing
you
her
better
tribe
ask
from the
first.
tyrannical war chief. A secret door slides open in the common chamber.
Otherwise, they go aggro and they all attack you. Okay, so the next quest, there's two different ways that you can actually defeat this. One is
Small, squalid cave
some
entrances
skills
dot the
checks,
ravine walls.
all charisma-based skills
These
checks.
must be the caves
I
of
might be able to make
caves,
them.
where the
Not real sure.
cultists and
Not going to
their
worry about it.
monster
I'm going to go the
allies
other
have
direction
made their
and
base.
grab the items throughout those. Oh wait, I might be on the wrong one. Scratch that. Next quest.
You enter the caves, determined to eliminate
This is another one that you have to go back and forth a bit.
The keep.
This one's just a hack and slash. I've been requested to stop. Ah, I have seem to have managed to do that for a couple of my items.
As the last goblin dies, you notice something glittering in the debris under the makeshift wooden walkway. The lock on this stout door does not look pickable. The guardroom door opens with the squeal of metal on metal, rousing the guards on the far side.
Okay, so there are optionals in this one. Requires us to open up those. Ooh, somebody has killed enough something that rats monster manual's been achieved. Whee.
As the door opens, a small goblin cries out, "Me, Chief, now! You go away!"
Okay, this is the one
The
that you actually
goblin
need in order to
falls.
get
Looking around, you spot an iron key in the back
the
of
iron
the chamber.
key to go back to the start again. That human life. Really nice. Because at that point, you literally just detour back to the front. But it's okay. I'm actually going to try to go do the optional, see if I can remember where it's at. Is it that way? Or is it this way? I think it's this way.
The orange crystal flares to life
You have to
as
do
the
both,
lever
actually.
is pulled. Somewhere in the tunnels, another crystal responds. You hear the squeal of rats from the doorway ahead.
Maybe not. But you got some collectibles back here anyway. By the time we get enough collectibles to make anything, we will be too high level for the stuff that we would want to make. Now I will say the bonuses to crafting material, crafting stuff is actually based off of the level of the shard. So, although it may seem like a low level item to make a level 1 crafting something, once you put it on a higher level item, it will increase its
foul stench wafts
abilities
out from this newly
for
opened
most
cavern.
items. There we go. And honestly, doing these optionals, not worth it. But it is giving us some unique kills, which does help for people with the monster manual.
This heavy iron-bound door is fitted with an unpickable magical lock. The door swings open on well-oiled hinges, startling the hobgoblins on the far side.
Okay, so up ahead is
You hear the sounds
one of those.
chanting coming from
There's a few times that this type of a puzzle comes into play. They actually started it not in a low-level quest, somewhat higher-level quest, newer quests that were very deadly, and the lag was so bad. It was bad.
A barrier seals off the passage.
So it is Simon Says.
Perhaps the
Or
magical
the
runes
game
on
Simon.
the wall are the key to opening it.
1, 2, 3. Now imagine this while there's lightning going on and people standing behind you and slight lag. You eventually just had to learn how to do it by memory of the sounds. Like that, we're through. I actually had to pull down the quest the first time, though, that was causing the lag when they first dropped it. That was horrible. Nobody could figure out how to do it because it was so far behind. The lights and everything were not where they're supposed to be.
Scrabbling and chittering can be heard from the hallway
I
ahead.
feel like I'm in the wrong way.
A strange creature erupts from the ground
I
as you
did
approach.
go the wrong way.
The umber hulk crumples to the ground, its heavy carapace clattering on the stones.
So, Umber Hulks, when they first came out, had a no-save stun. It was ugly. On an already fairly hard quest, it was bad. Nothing we could do could stop them.
A massive iron gate bars this passage.
I'm sure you heard the blade slicing. There's nothing we need down there. We're not going to attempt it. In the event you ever need a shrine,
This small
right there.
chamber looks like a safe place to rest.
Again, this quest has one of those areas that suggests you should
wall
have
in the
a
armory slides open,
well-rounded party,
making barely a sound.
as it is locked behind only roguish stuff down that direction.
The hobgoblin chieftain lurches out of his throne with a roar. The hobgoblin chieftain slumps to the ground, dead.
Okay, up and around to this one.
Small, squalid cave entrances dot the ravine walls. These must be the Caves of Chaos, where the cultists and their monster allies have made their base.
I see it. We're almost there. Okay. Insert what I was saying to this quest about multiple options of how to finish it.
You can see Gnoll guards ahead, blocking the entrance to their camp. Just as you brace yourself for a fight, another Gnoll calls out to you in a shrill voice.
You there! If you're looking for a way inside, I've got just the thing. But I might need something myself.
Eula Bloodgleam, daughter of the Gnoll chieftain, has given you a charm of evil chaos to help you infiltrate the camp. She and the Gnoll Outlanders want to leave the Borderlands. The guards scramble to let you pass. Just as Eula said, a visitor from the cult of evil chaos demands their attention.
There's a few tablets right
You
here.
find a stone slab and
Tells you kind of what
Wheelgrass
you're supposed to be doing
diary
next.
hidden in the dirt. It
This does
seems
require a little
Mia
bit of back and
admires
forth,
Pulver Pebbleskin.
because you're going to go get that first tablet is going to tell you to come down and talk to a gentleman down here. And this guy will tell you to go talk to a gentleman up there.
Oro's Sandcloak lets you in on a secret. Chief
another one here.
Bloodgleam has been lying to the Outlanders about sending their comrades to join the cult.
Grab your collectible.
If you can prove that Outlanders are being killed as sacrifices instead,
Where we at?
it will destroy their loyalty to the chief.
So technically I could get there with some checks in here. For some reason I was thinking that the last one was in there.
You've
It is.
stumbled across Pulver Pebbleskin's diary. The Outlander writes about losing her lucky rat bone. Finding it might persuade her to join
So
your
it tells
side.
you all the different things you need to do in order to convince these guys what they need to. So now he's going to give
Broomfoot
you some
reveals that
juicy
Zark
information.
Club, the renowned Outlander fighter, can't stand the sight of blood. Time to let Zark know what you know.
Okay, so up here, gotta talk to this guy, and your surprise inspection, and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna find this.
You spot a gemstone ring among the rubble of bones and blood. Oros said
Okay.
Gravemaw always wore a ring like that.
So this is
before
one
he
that's
went
easy
to
to miss
serve the
because
cult.
you go flying past it.
This proof of Gravemaw's death will
Yeah.
convince the
Shiny
Outlanders
rat
once
bone.
and for all that they should abandon the cult.
Okay, so once you've managed to grab all those things and talk to all those people, you come back down to the end fight. If I'm not mistaken, this is... Yeah, I was gonna say, it's locked behind one of those. Bring yourself a rogue button. Chest, so. Okay, click on these guys. And you have two choices now. I could have intimidated. Those are those other things. But, as I found their bones,
The Gnoll nods in agreement. You've convinced enough Gnoll Outlanders to turn against Chief Bloodgleam and her cultist. You've convinced members of the tribe to turn against the cult of evil chaos and found proof
okay, you
that
can
Chief
actually
Bloodgleam has been
bug this
lying
quest, or at least
about
you used to be
sending
able to.
Outlanders to work with the cultists.
If you killed the boss
This
too
should be
quickly,
more than enough
and the
to
other
create
waves
an
didn't
uprising
spawn,
in the Gnoll's
it would
ranks.
bug.
Chief Bloodgleam
I
bellows
don't know
at
if
the
that is
crowd.
still an issue.
You
If anybody
would
is
trust
actually
this
still in chat
outsider
that
over
knows
your
that,
own, Chief?
great.
Have you forgotten everything the cult has
Um,
done for you
I'm
idiots?
gonna hang out over here.
The Outlanders seem to reconsider. But you have something that will convince them. You
Oh.
hold up Gravemaw's bloody
Yeah, it's
ring
just story.
and reveal that you found it in the chief's shrine.
Chief said Gravemaw joined the cult!
Someone shouts.
But Gravemaw never took on that ring! He's dead and will be next!
all these things to spawn.
You think you've won against the onslaught of Knoll cultists. You go down with the blood-stained earth. Not a single cultist remains standing. The Outlanders cheer, relieved that they can finally leave the Borderlands behind. Those!
Don't know what happened to the auto glitch there, but that's okay.
With Chief Bloodbloom and the other cultists out of the way, Eula and Oro can finally escape into the wilds together. As they turn to leave, Eula tells you to hold on to the charm of evil chaos she gave you.
These are, one more reason why we probably should run these at low levels, and another reason to love these Geyer's Boots of Dashing. That's yet 3 more charges of Expeditious Retreat, which will be coming in handy as we get longer into quest. So 6 charges, better than 3. And apparently my recall decided I wasn't going anywhere. Okay, so technically this is the last of them out here, but there's one more after this. I just skip it and go in a different order. Okay, so I'm sure people have different opinions on the best way to do this quest. I have my own way of doing it. It's most logical to me. You have a couple absolutely required objectives that you must hit. One of being kill some cultists. The other is finding the codex page. There's a couple places that meet both of those where you can kill the cultists and have a high probability of finding the page as well. It is not in the first place that I can look. Grab some of this. Now there are some other places back that direction that it could potentially have spawned. But as it's not on my direct path to the exit, and there are like 4 other choices between here and the exit that I can potentially find it, that I have to go by no matter what, I always go this way. Yeah, let's get these guys. Okay. So this is where we're going to find some more cultists. There is a spot in here that you can find the codex page. Once again, it is not here. But we have now killed all the cultists we need. Okay, so this puzzle here could be the bane of our existence. There's solvers out for this thing. I just totally did it by accident, so go us. Okay.
Whispery voices call to you.
Had we gone through and gotten all the different little mole thingies, I do have one for that. We could have picked up all of the different chaos things, but I didn't.
This gets a reaction out of the
whoa.
voices.
Soon, is that what I think it is?
Apparently when I wasn't looking though. Maybe he did? Oh, he picked up one of them. Interesting. Okay, so far we've had no luck finding it. There's sometimes one here, but we're still not to the end yet. And we gotta go this way to find the end boss. And there's still 2 more spots that that piece can show. So we are gonna check both of them before.
The fleeing priest's voice turns into a scream and is then cut short.
And our last ditch effort is the missing codex page. So we found it right here. We ended up not having to make any extra runs, didn't have to go any extra locations because we killed enough cultists on the way. And we did not go to any of the extra kill zones because you didn't need them. Ultimately at the end. And we're done. We have one more quest out here. And I have 0 more inventory space, so that's a thing. Happens out here a lot. One more quest is right here. Guess I should have fair warned him that he was going to need his featherfall. So this quest has such potential that they messed up on the requirements. There's a whole direction in that direction. You don't have to go to a darn bit. And they did a whole part of a dungeon that's not even required. You go through it one time because you don't know where you're going on your first run through, and you never go through it again. Get your boots.
The cult of evil chaos has set up camp in this cave. With the goal
And honestly, I would have to say, if there's one complaint I have, that's one of my complaints. They go through it and they make so many areas to these quests that they end up not being required, not having to go in and touch them at all. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it makes it for short quests and happier players, I'm sure, but it seems like an awful lot of work for large, glorious dungeons that aren't needed. If they weren't going to make something down there required, they knew we weren't going to run it other than once. There's a few spots like that. Okay. By the way, trap.
You spot skittering vermin inside the
For end fights at low level, this owlbear can hurt on the lead.
We've slain the owlbear, ending the cult's
Not on
plan to make the beast into a weapon they could use against the residents of the valley.
And all my inventory slots are full, so. Let me throw out my starter wit blade because I'm never going to be able to sell that. I will take my stone ring and sell it. Okay. That's a really fast quest. That's actually the last of them out here. We are double recalling out. And I have another piece of mail, so maybe that's more favor points. That'd be nice. I can't even turn in this stuff until I go. Here we go. I gotta go sell stuff before I can turn in the end quests. Nothing exciting in here. There's definitely things that would be nice if, you know, I was on different characters. The armor is uniform across the different types that they have. So they all are going to have the fortification 38, which is great at level 1. I mean, that's great. I didn't really need most of this stuff. Just selling it for the gold. Oh, okay. So here we go. We were wondering where my magical number was, and my plat is capped out already. I am at less than 5,000, and I can't take any more plat in because I have plat capped. So what I'm going to do to get around this right this second is actually I'm going to go take my level, which will increase that limit a little bit. I don't know to what, but I'm going to go find out. So at level 3, 5,000 plat's all I can have, if not less. And I'm going to take another level in Paladin. And see how much more it lets me do. Actually going to go Strength. UMD. And I suddenly get spells. And 4 action points. So as long as I was holding those levels, those points, I couldn't spend them. Won't give them to me until I'm active. So now let's see what I can. Let's see. I know you can't see it because it's in my chat box, and that's covered. It says you've reached your current gold limit of zero gold and cannot receive any more gold. Your limit will increase with each level you gain. This limit does not apply to premium and VIP accounts. Except to be a premium account, all you have to do is spend any money whatsoever in this game, including the lowest amount of Astral Shards or DDO points, which is like $8. So let's see if I can sell the rest of the stuff that I didn't need. I think I was almost stuck with all that extra stuff in my inventory just because they seem to think it's fun to make a cap on that. Okay. Not anymore. There's no starter packs available. Okay, so reaching 100 favor gave me another 25. So, let me see in the store. I think I'm still just short. I'll swear I hit the right buttons eventually. I am exactly 1 point shy. Now remember back when I said I was going to probably regret my decision for doing the quest that gave me the very, very low point shivery cake, and I only had to spend like 5 DDO points to do it? Yeah, I need my 5 right now, because I'm down by 1. And my next level for getting more points isn't as low. I will have to actually hit 200 favor to get more points. I may end up having to cheese that one and go to a different server and hit 25 points again, just so that I can get that extra pack. But I'll only do that on Sunday if it looks like I'm not going to make my goal. So, There's probably nothing in here that I need for any of this stuff, so it's all level 1 lobby stuff at this point. But I'm gonna pick it up anyway. And even though I'm probably gonna hit that magical plat number again, I am going to make sure to get the most expensive items I can find, because I'm about ready to just go sell them. After I sell here, I am going to take a little bit of a break. Might come back tonight, may not make it back tonight. It's kind of getting late. Still recovering from COVID, so. I am gonna find me some dinner, which will probably look eerily like my lunch. Okay, so here is something that we haven't seen yet. I do have a set of boots for Swift. So Swift boots would give me a run speed permanently of 15. I'm still going to keep my Expeditioner's Treat, that is at 25. Eventually, as you get higher level, you do get this to increase up to the point where it's better to just use the boots. It takes a lot of levels, though. And ironically, the named gear takes longer than the loot gear to actually reach those bonuses for some crazy reason. Okay, everything that's glowy I don't need because I just picked it for the purpose of selling. I'm getting rid of my one potion of lighter because it's taking up space. I actually know myself pretty well too. I'm never going to remember to use this. Or that. Or that. Or that. Or that. Maybe my potions of tumbling. Definitely my potions of jumping. So. Okay, so anybody that's either still in chat or still in the game with me, thank you for coming by and stopping by and saying hello. I am going to call it for right this minute. And I am going to go get some dinner. Thank you.